everybody. Tim here. A little unusual. I'm doing a surprise session streaming thing going on. What I plan to do is some of the other gaming I do during the week. I play Heroclix, which is a collectible miniatures strategy game put up by Wizkids /NECA, I think. And they just came out with a new set that I was really looking forward to called Spider-Man Venom Ultimate Carnage, which is a lot of every so often they come with these themes. The last set was Fantastic Four, and the next set is X-Men, and it's Justice League and stuff. So it's mainly comic book hero properties, mainly DC and Marvel, and they occasionally branch out into other properties. My point is, so every so often there's like a Spider-Man theme set. This one happens to be, they focus a lot on the absolute carnage, storyline recently about Null and the Clintar and all that stuff. And so this set has some Spider-Man themes. It's Spider-Man family is one of the keywords they have. And so you see a lot of the multiversal versions. If you've ever seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you see a lot of those familiar characters. We got all the typical symbiotes most of the typical symbiotes you'd expect. Sinister Syndicate, so some of the typical Spider-Man enemies. And I figured, hey, why not since I'm going to open this brick anyway, we'll do a little unboxing. Chances are you've seen other people do unboxing. You've probably seen WizKids and Scott Porter do his preview unboxing thing. So you probably know already what's in here. I'm hoping the joy we get out of this. I mean, I'm going to get some joy out of seeing what I got. Hopefully you'll share some of that joy too. So let's open up the brick. We get 10 boosters to open. So start with the front left and go counterclockwise in case anyone cares about chase distribution. So we got Spider-Man, and he looks like he's chokeholding Venom there on the front. This side here we got Miles Morales, we've got Red Goblin, who, if you haven't read the comics, I guess is Norman Osborn wearing the Carnage symbiote, so he became not Green Goblin, but Red Goblin. On the back we got a few of these chase figures that are, so this is a collectibles game, so it's you see a lot of the familiar common, uncommon, rarity distribution. So they came up with these chase figures. This set has a bunch of alternate universe characters. So here we've got Leonardo da Venom, which is Eddie Brock, as like Leonardo da Vinci. We got Penny Parker here, who's got steampunk version of a robot, and then we got Spider Hammerai, which is kind of cute. And then here we got Absolute Carnage. And we've got Spider-Man No More, because there's a special version of him that comes with a garbage can of that story where he gave up being Spider-Man for a while. So, we'll get into it, and I'll explain maybe a little bit about how the game works, and if you have no idea. But again, chances are it's easy to Google up, heroclix.com. So, first booster, a very good booster to start with, because it comes with a super rare figure, which I was looking forward to. So let's go common. So it's, if you don't know, it's a little booster of 5 figures come in this little pre-vacuum sealed business, so the figures will kind of stand upright. Sometimes they don't all fit, and they come with 5 individual cards, kind of explaining. Let's pick the first one here. Have a character. They've got so you can see we got the first figure, Black Cat, number 5. Pull her out of the booster. Where she's got some kind of like chain thing going on. So it gives her name, some keywords, which are ways you build teams, her real name, Felicia Hardy, some traits, and some stats. And hey, I came up with this idea of having the stats on the screen at the same time. Let's bring that up. Black cat. I gotta look around my stupid screen. I'll bring it up in a second. Get my cursor in the right spot. And a little more awkward than I expected. She's a ruler. Usually she's got some kind of, I'm guessing she's ruler like the Magia. Cause she's got this underworld team ability, which is what they usually give bad guys. So let's see. So that's her stats. For those of you who understand what Heroclix means, I'm not going to go into the details of what all this means, except where it's interesting. Trait. She gains the named keyword of another character, so she basically fits most any team, which is pretty cool. Her speed power, which is the top. So these white powers means there's So alright, real brief. Heroclix comes with a bunch of standard powers, which is all these colored boxes mean. And then there's these white powers, which, depending on which slot they're in, gives her certain powers that it's either the combination of standard powers or there's something special. And then there's traits, like I just mentioned, which is part of her dial that is always active. So her powers here: leap, climb, sidestep, stealth. So she's pretty easy to get around. Bad luck field, which is an interesting power. Opposing characters within 4 squares can't use probability control to reroll attacks that contain a 1 or 2. So if you roll bad when you try to hit her, or if you try to attack someone while you're near her and you roll poorly, chances are you're going to keep that roll. So here we go, Black Cat. This website here is hcrealms.com, where we've got some inventory management thing, which is kind of neat. So keep one, Black Cat. And this is going to take me forever if I explain everything, so let's try to speed things up. Figure number 2 out of the common Bombshell. Now, this is a character, honestly, I've never heard of before. But, so we've got the Bombshell card and the Bombshell figure. I'll hold that up while I try to do this at the same time. Watch me fail. Right there. Bombshell. Boop. So this is I think the daughter version. Because so if you notice, so she has a trait called Mother-Daughter Duo, so there's the other uncommon Bombshell. If they team up, they both get Force Blast, and if they're close enough to each other, they get Pulse Wave and protected from Pulse Wave, which means they can do like this huge explosion and not hurt each other when they do it. Like a souped-up explosion that basically hurts everything and goes through pretty much anyone's defense. She's got this power, Running Shot, which is a kind of a move and shoot attack. When she knocks back one or more characters, which you probably do with Running Shot. After resolutions, she moves up to X squares, where X is the highest number of characters. The number of squares a character is knocked back. So she's kind of got this equal and opposite reaction kind of thing going. She knocks them, and Force Blast means she'll knock him back. So, and then she's Ultimate Teams. So they don't hand out that team ability very often anymore. We're just ignoring Hindering Terrain. For all purposes. And yeah, obviously she's a bad guy with Sinister Syndicate and Femizons, but she's Ultimate Universe, which is interesting. Okay, and let me move on to, so we're going to get into one of the themes of this set, which you'll see a lot of. So interesting that the booster comes with both. So we start off next. Let's mark off that I got one of these. Bomb show. Oops, that's me sliding around. A dummy. So we next pulled. Here is Mary Jane Watson. Very simple. So she's got a lot of text on her card, but she's a pretty small figure. Mary Jane, Spider-Man team ability, which is a wild card thing, which is what you'd expect from someone like Mary Jane. What was I going to say about her? No, she's only 15 points. That's part of the thing why she's interesting. She's just a normal human, right? Except she's got, so she's one of her trait powers is, because she's a movie star, she summons paparazzi. So she's ability to create what they call bystander tokens, which is just like a one-click figure you can put on the board, which looks like that. Which is basically a guy with like incapacitate, which slows people down, side stuff, and she can summon up to like half a d6. It's pretty good. I think that's a neat ability because you'll always have Mastermind Fodder or Human Shields if you're into that kind of thing. So she's an interesting character, and she's autonomous too, which they give all these secret identity figures. So she's only 15 points. She got sidestep, she can kind of slide up when she needs to. She got energy shield, so it gets harder to hit her. She's got a shape change, which is always nice defensively. So there's a secret identity mechanic where if you opt to swap them out with one of these named figures, you can you get like 3 extra clicks of life with the special super villain power, super identity, and your opponent, if they knock him out, gets an extra few points. So Mary Jane can turn into, she's Iron Man. So apparently in the comics, for a brief time, she wore the Iron Man armor. She's Marvella, which I guess is she played like a superhero on TV. And this other version where she's Venom. Venom. It's his secret identity up in the corner there. So again, apparently, Mary Jane wore the Venom symbiote for a time, or a symbiote at least. So this is actually uncommon figures. So scroll down, Venom. Boop. So here's how this works. So if you play Venom by yourself, you're playing like the Anne Wayne version, and you end up with like this regular dial of these running shot, 5 range, double target, precision strike, not bad, and then incap with perplex, and then she gets into a little close combat blades and combat reflexes, which is nice. And then, but if you play her as, like, if Mary Jane turns into her, you get this 3 clicks. You start here with a running shot and the 18 super senses, ain't not bad. And so you end up with like 25 extra points, which is not bad. But you got options. So if you want to turn into Iron Man or Venom or Marvella, which I think is super strength. She's got the symbiote trait, which they hand out a lot of these symbiotes, which is plasticity and shape change, and they used to give them automatic breakaway. I don't know why they took that away. Maybe that's too powerful. And along came a spider. When she hits, after resolutions, a hit character gains immobile. So particularly nasty on the Mary Jane version, where you incap them, so you slow them down even more by giving them action tokens, which means prevents them from doing things the next turn usually. So not only can they not do something, then they can't move either, which can be particularly nasty. And then, if you prevent people from moving, you might not be able to prevent them from attacking, but you can prevent them moving, and the incap might prevent them from doing other stuff, depending on who you hit and what they can do. Very cool. Venom. Boop. Keeping track of my inventory at the same time. And here we go, thing I'm excited to see. It's Venom Groot. And not just any Groot, it's Baby Groot. He's a super rare figure, so it's nice to pull. It's like a little half Groot, a little half Venom. Baby Groot. Baby Groot. Okay, Venom Groot. Boop. Here's Venom Groot style, which is fairly short for a 35-point figure. Stealth, poison, and defensive. Let's see. He's got the symbiote trait, like I said, plus history shape change. All these Venom type figures, other characters wearing the Venom symbiote. So there's others in the set. I noticed. It's kind of, I don't know if you can see this, but off of his shoulder is a little symbiote mouth, kind of latching out. That's kind of cute. I really like that, especially if you read my comic once upon a time. So they have these ability called call in for help. They give the Venom figures call in from the Venomverse, which I guess was a short series in the in Marvel Comics. And then there's call in from the Spider-Verse, so you get the Spider-Man family, and they can basically, if you hit someone, there's a chance you can bring an ally next to you. And let's see. So his trait, regrown from a twig and from a drop. So when he's knocked out, instead of putting the KO area, instead of knocking him out, you can start him to click 1, put him on the card, and if you call in from the Venomverse, you can resummon this figure. So he's like never truly gone until all your Venom figures are gone, which is really cool. I'm getting a text, which is spam. Hey. Whatever. And then his damage power here. Fly traps and vine snares is what that 3 boxes. And the 2 on the bottom. He's tiny size, so he's like, which there's different sizes in Heroclix. So obviously you get tiny figures, you get regular figures, and there's giants, and they just came out with the Galactus, huge figures. When an opposing character is placed within 4 squares of Groot, so you put him next to Groot, he gets -2 attack, or deal him 1 penetrating damage. And if he happens to land in hindering terrain, do both. So you want to be careful getting close to Groot. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Here is box 1. Hopefully these will go a little faster, especially once they start pulling duplicates. Hey, I'm not in a hurry, are you? And I dropped it. No. That's what I didn't want to do. Pardon me while I flounder off screen and try to find the one figure I dropped without crushing it. Pardon me, 1 moment, please. Landed onto my chair. Okay. Let's try to avoid doing that again in the future. Alright. Baby Groot. Boop. Let's see. Box 2, which again is the next one from the front left, going counterclockwise for those keeping track. Ooh, another couple feet. Ooh. So again, this is the kind of joy I wanted to share with people. So let's see. Interesting, we pulled Gwen Stacy and not her alter ego, but we have Harry Osborn on his. So, well, let's start with the cool one I'm really excited about. So, what Heroclix has done recently is they introduced a rarity. Well, it's not exactly a rarity, so the concept of unique figures, which just means you only have one of them on your force. You can usually double multiples if you want. And then there's Prime, which is like you only have one Prime figure. You get a multiple uniques as long as they're different uniques. But so here is Prime Venom, which is the common Prime. And they typically come one per brick or one per case, so pulling one is kind of nice, which means I might not get a chase figure, but honestly, I'd rather have the Prime figures. You'll look at him. So this is Eddie Brock when he's been taken over by Null, and he's got this little swirly thing on his face. Again, I don't know much about the Absolute Carnage series, but I know this is like main theme of the set, so we're gonna check to see. That's what he used all these codex things. My understanding is the codex is it's like how Venom got his spider powers in the first place. Was basically the symbiotes can take the codex out of someone's superpowers. Correct me if I'm wrong. I followed up on it briefly. So let's start with Venom. So he's got, and actually he's a secret identity figure, which means if you pull an Eddie Brock, he can turn into like this Prime figure briefly, which is interesting. Let's see, a trait. So they get these Prime figures all have this symbiote codex hunter trait, which is another symbiote. Part of the symbiote trait, plasticity, shape change, and then I think this is what the Carnage symbiote gives you, which is if you knock someone out, they get to heal, and if it happened to be a codex, you heal 3 clicks. So, really nice on a figure like this. We've got a little shape, steel energy too. So his speed power here, driven mad by Null, which gives him full speed charge, which is you can move his full speed and attack. Close combat. Normally that'd be half. After he uses it, deal 1 penetrating damage to each adjacent character, including friendlies. You can do a little extra damage on top, which is nice. Especially if you get into an area, especially where you can use this Quake. Symbiote's taking over, which is a stop click, which means at least this is here, so you won't immediately die. Free action, you can either give him an action token. This is like on a 1 on a d6. There's a chance he might slow down. 2 through 5, choose one till the last. Impervious or regen, so there's a chance to either soak some damage or heal. Well, on a 6, just heal 2 clicks. And since he's got the regen and and it's because of the stop click, they added the rule where I think you won't heal quite as much as normally. It's like -1, but nice. Yeah. Vitamin team ability, more is hindering for movement and elevated, so we can get around. Very happy to pull that. Hey, we're gonna go down. Let's go down and this time. And this is the other figure I was excited to pull. This is Scorn, who is another symbiote. Obviously, I'm interested in the symbiotes. Here's Scorn, this girl wearing all in purple with a little gun. Apparently, it's like a techno hybrid symbiote. She's I don't know the whole story behind it, but she's so this is Scorn's dial. Keep her. So she's got the symbiote trait, techno hybrid, where she gets a free action to roll a d6 50% of 50% chance, 4 through 6. Remove an action token from a friendly character with a robot keyword within 3 squares on the line of fire. And she's a robot herself, so hey, she can possibly clear herself, but also good for robot teams. Or at least other robots you might have. It's a Techno Inhibitor Ammunition, which is her first 3 clicks there. Outwit, but it may choose 2 powers if one of them is standard defense. Very nice. You outwit their defense, and then you can outwit something else. Very cool. I'm happy about that. Gorn. Next, like I said, here's Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man's first girlfriend. And if you notice, identical self to Mary Jane. She's just got the different clothes, and she's got the trademark headband. Gwen Stacy card. So obviously she turns into, I guess her comic book name now, she used to be Spider-Woman in her universe. She's known as Spider-Gwen. But she turned into, she calls herself Ghost Spider now, which is, I think is a cool name. And actually as, you know, as a autonomous 25-point figure to have 9 speed charge, 17 senses, and 2 exploit. Not bad. Not bad for 25 points. And for an extra 25 points, you can turn into Ghost Spider. Well, optionally. If you don't want to give your opponent those points, you can. And then she's a trait. Opposing characters within 4 squares can't use super senses. Pretty good thing to hold on to. If you're doing like a sealed, or actually our group is doing a draft next week. That's really cool. So, you know, in this set, with which I'm sure with the symbiotes and the Spider-Man's, a lot of super senses, which, hey, shut that down and be really helpful. Alright, and then Spider-Man's other bud, Harry Osborn. Looking stylish in his little suit. His weird wavy hair. Let's see. Harry Osborn, number 13. Oop. Here's Harry's dial. So he's actually got support, which is interesting. No power is always nice. Precision strike with 1 damage, always helpful. He has a little bit of sidestep and can't attack with a 0 attack, but he can do whatever he wants. Let's see, and then his secret identity, you can either turn into Green Goblin, or I will show in a moment, American Son, which is basically all he does. So hey, Harry Osborn, here you go. So he turns into this if you remember in the comics, some time ago when Norman Osborn formed the Dark Avengers, which is, he's got this keyword here, Norman Osborn copied Iron Man's armor and became Iron Patriot, the original Iron Patriot. Most people might know him as Rhodes, Rhodey, as Iron Patriot from the movies, but originally it was Norman Osborn. We're going to look at number 21. Here we go, American Son. I didn't know Harry turned into American Son, and I'm not familiar with this. But it's Amazing Spider-Man number 597, 2009. So hey, that was like, what, 11 years ago? So we'll play Harry Osborn at full strength. You got this whole thing that includes, let's see, first, now includes energy shield and invulnerability, so we get some strength and tough, some defenses. And then if you turn into him, and defend. So he's kind of a well, 18 defend is tricky to hit, but it's gonna go right through. You'd think at least have some invulnerable or something, but. Anywho, to be the son Norman wanted or not. So the first time he would be knocked out by a high enough figure, 25 points or more. You could instead go to his last click. If you do, he gets perplex and +1 combo values. If you don't, no, the first time he would knock out a high enough. So either being the good kid, and you get perplexing +1 combo values, or if you actually knock them out, you deal him 1 damage, and then he can use Outwit and deals penetrating damage. So you can be ruthless, or he can be the good guy. And actually, either of those options are pretty good. Okay, do you want to futz around with, like, I mean, 10s and 9s becomes 11s and 10s, 4 damage, and then these are close combat expert and range combat, close combat expert and range combat expert. So doing a little extra damage on top of that, plus, I mean, hell, this becomes 19 defense. I don't think you can share the 19, honestly, but 19 defense just a hit. And then, or you get outwit and penetrating damage, so you don't have to worry about that thing. So it depends who you're up against, how early or late in the game you are when you knock out a high enough point figure. Very cool. And, you know, Heroclix, I collect, I've got like a few families of figures that I like prefer to collect, and I like Iron Man too, so collecting an Iron Man like figure is kind of neat. Team up with his dad. Right, box 3. I might have already pulled out the cool stuff. But there's bound to be more super rares in here. But, okay, well, let's see who we got. More secret identities. Because, alright, let's start off. We've got Iron Man here. So, like I said, this is. I mean, it's just regular old Iron Man. Regular old Iron Man armor. But it's Mary Jane inside, and you couldn't tell unless you read the real name, which is Mary Jane Watson, and of course there's the secret identity things. Iron Man. So here's what Mary Jane turns into, and there's the Iron Man stuff. You've got advanced repulsors too. Cocoon, if you've seen that. When Iron Man hits with a range attack, and Mary Jane can do this too, after resolutions, each hit target is knocked back 4 squares. And he sees through hindering. Targeting, which is nice, because there's a power called Stealth, so which means if you hide in a bush, they can't see you, or hide in the shadows. When normally it just slows you down. You get a slight bonus, but not. You can still see them. But yeah, having just knocking back everyone, especially if you got elevated terrain and you just knock people off ledges, it must be fun. 4 squares is nothing to shake at. Usually, when you do knockback, it's like the amount of damage you do, and sometimes you might not do that much because it's after you reduce it. So if you hit someone with damage reducers, you knock them back like 1 square, and that's not dramatic, but always hit them back for 4. Pretty nice. Next up, I'm going to show off Common Deathlock. So included, I'm assuming, because he was part of the Maximum Carnage storyline. And I think the uncommon version might have the keyword. I don't know. Deathlock. For those curious, this is the Michael Collins version, apparently. Honestly, I'm not that familiar with Deathlock as a character. I just know he's a zombie cyborg. He struggles with his humanity. Let's see. All systems rebooting trait of regeneration, so he can always heal himself, which is cool. Computer calculate countermeasures, which is his damage. At the beginning of your turn, you choose standard damage power. Hey, pick a power is always helpful, and damage powers is nice, which means you get probability control, you get outwit, you get perplex. Those are always useful powers. You get your close and ranged combat experts. You get shape change, nice defense. Supporting, I guess, if you're really in a pinch. Battle Fury if you're really going to get past the shape changers. Alright, let's go with the bad guy here. This is Hammerhead, who you might recognize from the cartoon from the 90s. That's the only time I remember seeing him outside of anything, really. I mean, aside from the Hammerhead that came in. Oh, did I mark this off? Yeah, come on. No, I'm clicking things that I can't quite see. Yeah, I kept it. Okay. I'm probably, you know what, I'll probably go through afterwards and double check all my clicks. Hammerhead. Click. And I'm just trying to show off his. See here, I mean, the only other time I've seen Hammerhead outside of that cartoon was when they made Hammerhead in the, I think it was the Deadpool set many years ago. His real name is Joseph. Don't even have a last name. Not to be confused with the Joseph who I think is Magneto's son. There's a version I think of his name Joseph. Anyway, it's basically your basic bad guy with your Sinister Syndicate and your Enforcers and Magia keyword. Goofy looking grin here. Let's see, yet another Sinister Six. So I think they're doing like they did with well, the last set they had the Frightful Four because of the Fantastic Four sets. They had the Frightful Four, and they all gave like each of them had a trait that gave the rest of the Frightful Four like some bonus. So I'm guessing that's what looks like. That's what they're kind of doing with the new Sinister Syndicates. Which, when adjacent friendly character with the Syndicate keyword begins a move, they can use the improved movement through blocking terrain. So he goes for blocking terrain. He just charges right through and just you head down through the wall. Nobody can't do that. He can, and he makes his buddies do that. Which is interesting because I think it'd be a Rhino thing to do, but he does it. Traded charge, which is nice on top of his sidestep. When he does it, uses it modified damage +1. Already impressive with a 3 damage. And let me introduce my friend Tommy. Tommy gun. So he's got a range of 5 and double target. So he's got a range attacks too up front. Having traded charge is nice. And that prevents the knockback, which one of the alternate rules. Not alternate, but additional pieces of charges that you don't get knocked back. So if he gets hit by that Iron Man, he won't move. Oh, yep, Hammerhead in his little blue suit. He has another secret identity figure. So we've got combat veteran Flash Thompson with his surprisingly shaggy He-Man looking hair. And his legs. He's got legs for some reason. Early enough version of Flash Thompson. Okay. So he's got the symbiote trait for just a human guy. So well, maybe that's why he can walk around. His symbiote's acting on his legs. So, and then the real quote unquote, Venom. Opposing characters within the 4 squares can't use shape change. Another nice defensive shutdown. I should show off his card. Number 28, Ash Thompson. Did you know his name is Eugene? You call him Gene. Yeah, sidestep, poison, close combat expert, nice, and then goes a little bit defend, and then he turns into either Agent Venom or Agent Anti-Venom. This booster happened to come with Agent Anti-Venom, so it's him in his Agent Venom outfit, just painted white, and I'm guessing it's the other Anti-Venom. So I think that's how they explain the Codex too. Is like the Codex was the symbiote was infected with Mr. Lee's, Mr. Negative's powers. Okay. Anywho, look it up on your own. I'm not that. I should study it a little better here. Agent Anti-Venom. So again, keeps up with the combat reflexes and the poison, and then if you just play him as is, get the symbiote trait, support as free, which is interesting because I think it teams up with the regular support here, so you could like support and then support if you play the Brock version, the Thompson version, excuse me. His damage weight, I haven't cured it yet, which is Outwit. Once when he uses it, you can use Outwit at no cost, but target character with Spider-Man family or monster. Basically, and in this set that's extra powerful because like every other figure has either one of those keywords. So Agent Anti-Venom is double Outwit. Is situation. All right. Box 4. Or 10 of these to strap in. 40% done. I guess 39% at this point. Alright, let's see. Well, interesting, we got both bombshells in this pack, so we got our first duplicate. And another interesting, I'm not sure, honestly, between these two bombshells. Lori or Lana, I don't know which one is the mom and which one's the daughter, but I can look that up later. But, so I think we had the common one before. Yeah, because the common one was the ultimate one, so I'm not going to show her off again, but we got the uncommon one. This one's got Sinister Syndicate. For those that don't know, Sinister Syndicate means if it's a team ability, which means it usually works when you stand next to someone with the same team ability. Basically lets them share attack values. So if you got someone who's got like a 9 and you're standing someone next to them with 11, you can use their 11 to hit someone. So common, which we have, and here's the new uncommon. And it's interesting that the common one, you can tell, I'm going to get nice close, is wearing a domino mask. I don't know if she's like a good guy in her universe or what. So, uncommon, yep, so there's your card, there's your stats. They fly too. Good for them. So she gives Sinister Syndicate keyword team members +2 range. Anyone who can do that, nice. Again, she's got the same trait as her daughter, or I'm going to assume this is the mother for now. So again, they give each other, they get Force Blast, and they can Pulse Wave when they're close to each other without hurting each other. She's also got Running Shot. Let's see, I'm just comparing these two. When she knocks back, it's the same power as the other one. So Running Shot, and if she happens to knock someone back, she moves an extra few squares. And just comparing the two, I mean, honestly, aside from damage values, they're pretty much identical as far as the first few clicks. So one of them sees through hindering terrain, but they get the Willpower and the Perplex and the Injury Explosion and the Force Blast, Running Shot, possible Pulse Wave, and then they get the Sidestep. Evil. See, Mom has Precision Strike, daughter has Quake, both have Injury Explosion, and then daughter has Enhancement, which is a range damage booster, and she's got range combat expert. So hey, teaming them might help each other out. There we go. That's Lana Baumgartner. Get it? Bombshell. Ha ha ha. Another team up at Secret Identity character, excuse me. And similar sculpt going on here. So we've got Eddie Brock looking pretty similar. He's got more of a spiky mullet going on than Flash Thompson. Okay. This is number 15. Eddie Brock. So again, he's got this otherwise what you see here, range combat expert, which is interesting on him. There's 4 range. Precision Strike, which is nice, gets through defenses. And then he's got the Plasticity Shape Change symbiote trait. Eddie Brock turns, well, obviously turns into Venom. I can turn him into that Venom I showed you before. I can turn him into Toxin. Apparently he wore the Toxin symbiote for a bit. I think when the Venom symbiote was taken away from him. I think it was given to him unwillingly. I remember off the top of my head. Toxin is common. How about that? It's kind of weird wearing your own grandson, right? Pretty similar dials between the one and the other, so you can kind of be Toxin here. Again, the symbiote trait. Attack power, hunting those who deserve it. Leap Climb, when he uses it after resolution to make a close attack, which is arguably better than, not the same as that full range charge. I mean, Leap Climb it basically gives you the same power as Flight, almost. Same movement style, but you get a breakaway bonus. And then Leap Climb also gives you like attack over hindering, some very situational thing. I don't know why it says unknown for his regular name, because we knew Peter Mulligan, I think his name is. I think it was originally, we got the original Toxin symbiote. And finally, we have Shriek, who is a character from the Maximum Carnage storyline. So I think they're redoing a lot of these characters. You got Shriek and obviously Carnage, and they're making Doppelganger and Carrion again, who weren't all in the same set before. And the nice thing about this Shriek, not Scream, she's different. This thing about the Shriek is she doesn't have the guy sitting there with her, which was a model of the champion, Heroclix champion that decided to, got the option to make her a figure in Heroclix. So at least now she's by herself. Okay, Shriek. Let's see. Maximum Carnage. So a lot of these Maximum Carnage figures have this trait where when she hits once per turn, she can deal 1 penetrating damage up to 2 opposing characters that weren't hit but adjacent. I think that was the Maximum Carnage alternate team ability, I think, or at least similar to it once upon a time, so they're giving it straight to these characters now, which is nice. Sonic Outburst. If Shriek has no action tokens, she can use Pulse Wave. Not bad. I'm just going to show off the card. So she gets Pulse Wave either, and given that she's got no willpower, probably every other turn. Unless you want to use her attack powers, which include Psychic Blast. She's targeted characters can't use super senses this turn, including for this attack. She's another one that shuts down super senses. Especially helpful in a set with a lot of Spider-Man. Here's Shriek. Yeah, about halfway. Wow, this is taking longer than that, but again, we'll speed up probably now that this is box 5, which means I'm probably in a good chunk of these. Well, I've only got a handful of commons so far. Technically 8, if I can do math, and 1 duplicate. And it's really glued on there. A little extra zealous with the glue on this one. Hey, it's just cardboard, we can just rip it. And the reason why they did ooh, what is this? Oh, okay. That's what I'm looking at. Something that's not there, which means Waldo arms. Let's show those off first, why not? So we've got super rare Superior Spider-Man, who, as you know, is when Dr. Octopus took over the mind of Peter Parker. He's wearing Waldo arms there, but you've got special object, which means anyone can use these Waldo arms. Literally anyone, because they're equip any Waldo arms. And see, and I think the rules say, yeah, he can start with them attached, so he automatically gets Waldo arms. He gets like double Waldo arms, literally 8 Waldo arms plus his 4 limbs. It's like a double spider. Let's show off his dial. Actually, I'm honestly happy to get, because there's been like 2 other versions of Superior Spider-Man and I never pulled one because they've always been like super rare. I'm happy to pull one for myself, especially with the Waldo arms, because let me show you what these things do. Jeez. So they giant reach 2, so you do like close combat for close, like from a little bit of range. They can turn, roll a d6. You either get 1 through 2 attack, modifying defense +1, so you get a bonus. 3 through 4 in cap is free. Hey, free attacks are nice. And then 5 through 6 free, make a close attack. So it's like, how can you go wrong for 10 points? Chances you'd be seeing a lot of that in competitive play. A lot of great 10-point. A lot of these equipments are really useful. Otherwise, let's see. Otto himself has this interesting dial. Pretty solid all around. And his speed power, charge, flurry, plasticity. Can't go wrong with that. So imagine he's wearing these arms. He runs up with his 5 speed at half a 9. Hits you twice with his arms and then gets 1 more attack with his other arms. For 3 damage each. Or possibly 12 attack, which is Pretty nice. Or free cap, because Spider-Man still uses webbing, even though that's not really a feature of the arms. I think. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the webbing comes out of shooters on his wrists, and not necessarily coming on his back. Okay, let's see. Another secret identity figure. Character familiar to everyone. Oop, number 16. Peter Parker. Who's just got this and the secret identity thing. So we've got Green Jacket Peter Parker carrying a little book. I think that's a kind of a funky paint job. Looks like a paint chip more or a paint mistake. For a second I thought it was like a mullet. It's like, wow, they're going whole hog with the 90s mullets. You got regular old Peter Parker with and Prob. Hey, free, like, again, all these guys are autonomous. They don't, any action you give them doesn't count against your pool. So you can just move with his 9 speed leap climb. So just, okay, just move him where you need to be. And then you got probability control where you need to be. He, secret identity, turns into, you know him, you love him, standard bog issue, bog standard, standard issue, bog standard is what it is. Really neighborhood Spider-Man. Indeed, that's the name of his trait. In fact, I'm funny. Here, Spider-Man in his little crouching position. Traded super senses always helpful on Spider-Man. Speed power, leap climb, sidestep, passenger 1, which means he can carry someone. And defend on a carry was nice. Leap climb to get to where you need to be and have someone there ready to go next turn. No willpower, but what do you want for, like, 40 points regular? I guess that's how much is Parker were normally. Parker's 35 plus 25? $60 points. Here we go, Peter Parker. We've got regular Venom now, not the Prime one, regular Venom. So Brock can turn in this one too. Secret identity figure. Symbiote key trait. So there's regular eyes Venom, although honestly I think these eyes are a little goofier looking than most of the sculpts you see of Venom. Probably because they had to work it around to be able to change it for the swirly eye version. Let's see, Lethal Protector, which you might recognize as the name of his limited series, Once Upon a Time. 1993, apparently. Because the back of these guys usually have significant appearance, where they get these characters from. Once per attack, when an adjacent friendly character takes damage, give him a protect token, and then you can remove a protect token as a free action to make a close attack that deals penetrating damage. You keep him next to someone, that person takes damage, he hits back hard. And finally, we've got Prowler, another classic Spider-Man villain, at least maybe more, probably more commonly known, thanks to Into the Spider-Verse. Remember Uncle Aaron Davis? That's this guy. So he's a secret identity character because there's an Aaron Davis in the set. He also turns into what I didn't realize, there's a version of Iron Spider he can turn into, which uses the Waldo arms. Here we go. Here's Prowler. In the more modern incarnation, I've got the old Prowler with the long flowing purple cape. Guessing this is a little more. It looks actually his sculpt. It looks very much like a Deadpool. If I didn't know any better, that's a very Deadpool-looking face. It's a casing the job, which is his attack. His speed power. What am I looking? I'm looking at the wrong. No, whoops. I made a mistake. This is. This is uncommon, bro. Okay, so I didn't realize. Excuse me. There are two Prowlers. This is uncommon Prowler. The other guy was the other Prowler. The more traditional Hobie Brown Prowler. Okay, whoops. My mistake. Uncommon Prowler. His speed power. Casing the job, sidestep stealth. Always a good combo. Especially when you can move through hindering terrain. He's in hindering terrain. Place him in hindering terrain within force grid's line of fire, so he just kind of like bamps. Very nice on a hindering heavy map. Vibro Shock Gauntlets. Did he steal these from Shocker? Let's see. Quake. When he uses it after resolution, Quake is basically you hit everyone around you, close combat. Usually for only 2 damage. When he uses it after resolutions, give a hit character an action token, so you can kind of slow a person down at the same time. That is box 5, for those keeping track. That was the front right. Moving on counterclockwise, this is box 6, the back right. When I said back, I'm meaning like the front images. All the bricks face the same way. Alright. There's Common Prowler. Alright. Ooh. Ooh. Very, very nice. I'm looking excited about this box. Let's see. Well, since I mentioned them, let's start off with them. Similar paint job. Common Prowler. Let's go back and mark him off. Whoops, that's me sliding around again. Because I can't click the right thing. Technically a good guy, he's Spider-Man family. Not Aaron Davis, he's signed to Syndicate. Right? So here's Hobie. Not many guys named Hobie. So all he's got is smoke grenades, gas grenades. Armed with gas grenades. Smoke cloud. Smoke cloud is free, but only generates free marker. 3 markers. Free smoke cloud is always good, especially when you got stealth. Otherwise, smoke cloud gives you, I think, 6 markers and only 4 range. Alright. It's interesting that the rare is kind of in the middle of the pack. Usually they pack them right in the end. Oh, this is another secret identity figure. That makes sense why they're together. Making sure all my stuff is organized. So let's start off. Here's Peter Parker lookalike, apparently. Jason Massendale. Who most commonly I identify as the Hobgoblin. But he apparently, so let's take a look. Number 29. Here's 25-point Jason Mastendale. Let's see. So he's got sidestep and stealth as a speed power, and 11 attack Sinister Syndicate, which is not bad for 25 points. Buy yourself an 11 attack. Hey, buddies. And opposing characters within Force Quiz can't use Mystics. Mystics is a team ability, which basically, if you hit them, they're going to damage you back. Which is a very powerful, coveted team ability. I don't think there's many Mystics in the set, honestly. So, hey, when there are, shuts them down. And he turns into, in addition to Hobgoblin, I don't know why he takes a turn as Jack-O-Lantern, I don't. He's also a Demo Goblin, which, again, another maximum Carnage thing where it's like they took his soul out and it became his own thing. Something, I don't know. Or it's like a demon that poses as him. Anyway, there's a pumpkin bomb object in the set. I think it obviously doesn't come with him. I think it comes with the Green Goblin, but let's see. Pumpkin bombs. So he gets an object which I think gives you energy explosion and automatically destroys walls if you throw the pumpkin bomb at it. Let's take a look at his dial since we're Emo Goblin. Because he's part demon. He's got the, no, I was going to say he has the maximum Carnage trait. He doesn't have that. Destroy the non-believers. Uses attack power here. Precision Strike. Choose one, see through and destroy blocking, or characters, or elevated, or hindering. Use the chosen ability this turn. So he's got like a choice of what he sees through. With a 6 range running shot. Not bad. I think I like that better than the old one. Can't quite say for certain. Let's see. Here, looking very much like Hammerhead, is the common version. Tombstone, obviously a different character, but a very similar haircut. Even if it's not filled with adamantium. He's just like kind of a semi-dead guy. Lonnie Lincoln. He's kind of, he underwent something where he doesn't breathe. He's like partially dead. I forget his reasoning. Let's see. Colder than the cold Bronx pavement, which is his damage and defense. Excuse me, his defense power. Impervious, and he can reduce penetrating damage, which is protected from outlet. So you have to hit him for big damage if you're going to do any damage to him. And hope he rolls in your favor. Roll in your own favor, you get to shrug off all the damage. And now another character I was excited to see. I don't know if this is regular 616 universe. Well, it says Symbiote Codex Hunter, so I wonder if this is part of the main storyline. But we have Miles Morales as Spider Carnage with his swirly eyes and 6 arms. I'm guessing that's the same sculpt as Doppelganger. Except Doppelganger's like the super rare. So he's got the Codex Hunter, which is again symbiote stuff, plus the shape change and the ability to heal if you knock someone out. And he's got the maximum Carnage trait, which hurts people next to the person he hits. 6 armed terror, speed power, showing off card, and thing goes to Miles Morales. Absolute Carnage. Let's see. Sleep Climb, Sidestep. And a power action to make 3 close attacks maximum damage 3. Given that he's got 3 damage to begin with, not a big deal. Probably want to perplex up his attack in that case. Awesome, I'm always happy to get more symbiotes. Spider Carnage, that's when Carnage, the original Spider Carnage was when he bonded with Ben Reilly. And I know that's a convention exclusive LE. And I'm getting partially confused with Cosmic Carnage, which is when Silver Surfer had the Carnage symbiote. Alright, oh boy, excellent. More symbiotes, I'm happy. Happy. Okay. Wow, we've got like double Mary Janes here. So we've got another Mary Jane Iron Man. Looking at, I didn't realize Spider Carnage is only 5 clicks long. How many points is he? That's hidden by my further right. 40 points. Well, that's a hell of a dial better than the first Miles Morales they made. It was 35 points of just pure crap, honestly. 35 points gets you a lot more stuff nowadays. Or for 5 points more. Okay, so we've got Mary Jane Iron Man. We've got Mary Jane here as Marvella. Wearing this very pink outfit. Again, this is where I think she was playing a superhero on TV. She's got celebrity keyword. Marvella. A very poor impersonation of someone's impersonation of Jack Kent Cook from another Washington football team, how they call themselves. So Marvella, let's see. Trait, because she's asking Peter, you can be an extra in my superhero movie. Because she's an actress. When establishing theme teams, characters in your starting force ability keyword gain the Spider-Man family keyword, which makes, if you play a team full of celebrities, which is usually generic, you become a Spider-Man family keyword team, which gives you extra bonuses. And that's the similar trait that they give all the chases. It works with different generic themes, generic keywords, which is what celebrity is. So if you play her at not full, regular 15 points, you get weak ass version here, which is in cap and on power and barrier for some reason. Closed set. Alright. They give these the standard power is like fun names. You call them named powers, I think. Let's see, wire work, or sidestep, flight, but only if Marvella has no action tokens. So she's got like partial flight. Or if you were Mary Jane, you just turn into this buff version with super strength and 3 damage. I don't know why regular Mary Jane turns into like buff Marvella. I forget if Marvella had like, if Mary Jane turned into like a superhero version of Marvella at some point. I don't know. Who else we got? Since we're in the uncommon, no, we're rare. That's right. We'll go pick uncommon first. We pulled number 6, Black Widow. Not your usual Black Widow. Ultimate Black Widow. So it's not sort of those. So it's blonde Black Widow, but it's not. If it's not Yelena Belova, it's Jessica Drew from the Ultimate Universe, wearing this sporty coat, looking a whole lot actually like Black Canary. rather than Black Widow. Dimensional Travel Watch, so there's a Dimensional Watch that she can use for free, which I think comes with Spider-Gwen, maybe Miles, I forget. Basically gives you, again, the ability to, there's a chance someone on your team can wind up next to you if you hit. Ultimate Spider Sense, so you get traded super senses in addition to this willpower. So senses and 18 defense, not bad. For 60 points. Once per turn, you may reroll a friendly character's senses or shape change roll if that character is within range and line of fire. Range of 4, so well, 4 range not great, but hey, once a turn reroll, not bad. Especially since she's got a trade, so you don't have to worry about it. Surprisingly pleased by that. Okay, next we've got the uncommon Deathlock. Luther Manning is his name. And not too familiar with Deathlock. There we go. And similar sculpt, different paint job. Zombie cyborg man. Let's see, breaking free of my crate as well. So he got a bunch of standard powers. Breaking free of my crate as well. He's got traded leadership. When he uses it and succeeds, give him a freedom token. He has 2 or less freedom tokens. Each character's take a maximum of 1 damage from his attacks. So he might start off with 4. So he's got to succeed at least 3 times with leadership. It's tricky to do because it works on a 5 through 6 on a d6. But you could sit him in the back and use that leadership. And then, once he gets it, come out guns a-blazing with that running shot Psychic Blast. And 4 damage. Instead of, well, I guess you could do Psychic Blast for 1 damage, but why do 1 when you can do 4? Alright, and another character I'm excited to see. Riot, who you may know as one of the Life Foundation symbiotes, who is technically one of Venom's sons, quote-unquote. But you also may remember him as the big bad guy from the Venom movie. Here's looking all nasty. The toxin sculpt. Tendrils coming out his back. Tossing weaklings aside. Super strength, traded. When he knocks back a character, which super strength lets you do, is you punch him. After resolutions, deal 1 damage to that character and all opposing characters adjacent to them. So you can actually punch them into someone they actually hurt, which normally doesn't happen. And the symbiote trait. I'm going to go on my little rant here. I haven't pulled Scream yet, but now she's in the set. I was disappointed that they didn't make all the Life Foundation symbiotes. They've got Scream, who's the yellow symbiote with the girl with the long hair. But they didn't make Agony, which would be a super easy resculpt to make. And they could have made a sculpt with Lasher and Phage, but they didn't. And they didn't have Hybrid. I'm mad about that too. So disappointed in that. For a set that's all symbiotes, you'd think they make all the symbiotes. And they put Scorn in there. And put Mania in there. And one of these stubborn things in. Alright, who we pull today? Oh boy, another. Ooh. Again, here's that excited thing I wanted to show off. Here's why I'm happy. Alright, let's start off the bad stuff. We have Duplicate Prowler. Regular old, what do you say, 40 points? 30 points, not even 40 points. Okay, let's pop the rest of these characters out so you can see who I'm talking about. Now, I'm a little surprised they put, show off next, Iron Fist in this set. I mean, I know he's part of the Maximum Carnage storyline, I believe, so that's a good reason why they put him in there. But and I'm glad they put in Steel Serpent, which is a repaint of him, which is his kind of enemy. So here's Iron Fist, shirtless. But I like this mechanic that they gave him and the other guy, Steel Serpent. So we have Iron Fist. So he's got this I am the Iron Fist chi manipulation thing. So at the end of your turn, if he didn't move or make an attack, give him chi. So he just kind of stays there and channels his power. Gets a token. Remove any number of chi tokens to make that many close attacks against different targets, maximum damage 3. And look at that, that was Precision Strike, 18 senses, charge and combat reflexes, which is always a good and exploit, great combo. Mind control, hypnotic fist technique. That's a first, and he's got improved movement past characters, which is what this little symbol here means. Which means you just move around without being stuck next to anyone. Poison and combat reflexes, and close combat expert, and then regen on top of that. So, especially toward the end of his battle, where he's going to sit there and regen. He's got no willpower, so you're going to have to sit there and clear, which is more of an excuse to build up chi and then just run up and then it's a free action, so you just punch a bunch of people a bunch of times, especially on those clicks with free damage. Okay, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man. You may know him as Miles Morales, star of the feature film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 18, Ultimate Spider-Man. Honestly, a little surprised he doesn't turn into Spider-Carnage, but whatever. So he's got the Spider-Man and Ultimate team abilities. He can use the watch because he's from a different dimension. Slightly different genetically engineered spider, so he's got plasticity, sidestep, and stealth for his speed. He turns invisible. Let's see. Shocking Web Blast, Precision Strike. When he's given a move action, moves 5 squares or less after resolutions, using Incap as range at no cost. So he can move 5 squares, shoot someone at 4 range to give him an action token, and they use it to target all opposing characters within range line of fire. So zips up 5 squares, hits everybody within 4 squares with his incap. For 11 attack, and then maybe followed up with Outwit. I'm happy to see this figure because I didn't collect the old one because I think it was super, if I remember right, it was super rare. Here's the Spot. Come out of a little dimensional hole where he's punching. This is a funny sculpt. So his arm is punching into a portal and it's coming out the portal on his face. So he's got a fist literally coming out of his face. That's like the. It's like I remember the Spot from the cartoon. Where he's like a little goofy, and this is like serious business Spot. So he's your typical bad guy. Blanket 18 defenses, which is nice. Alternating stealth, which is not quite as nice. Let's see. Get another Sinister 6 trait, which someone next to him with a keyword. When they move, they can move with a speed of 10. So he's kind of got this speed boost. Here, there, and everywhere he gets treated phasing. And basically, it's interesting that they just didn't give him improved movement. They gave him phasing. But phasing is free but have speed. So he can move 5 squares and get pretty much where he needs to go. Death of 1,000 spots with an ellipsis. Flurry as a trait. Okay. When he makes a close attack, a target and opposing character within 4 squares regardless of adjacency, so you can basically punch everyone within 4 squares. Opposing character targets a spot with a close attack and misses, deal the character 1 damage. It's not penetrating damage like Mystics is, and it used to be unavoidable, but hey. And with super senses, he could hit you and you could still miss if you make your super senses rolls. So. Probably pretty nice in this set with a lot of squishy defenses. I don't think there's a lot of damage reduction going on here. And here's the other character I was excited to see, another super rare, Venom Doctor Strange, similar to Venom Groot. Look at that cape, very spawn-like cloak of levitation of symbiosis. So that's 2 of the 4 super rare Venom characters I was looking for, which is nice. Also Ghost Spider, otherwise known as Gwenom. Captain Marvel. Well, let's see, we've got Psychic Blast, which is always nice. Riding Shot pairs well. He's got the Summon, the Venomverse trait, as you expect from these guys. Improved targeting, shoot basically anyone. Symbiote trait. It was my decision to bring you all together. He's got leadership and prob, which is pretty good to have. And Mystics on top of Defenders. I don't know who he's defending, but here we go. It's funny, look at his hair. He's got these like white streaks, like, I don't know if those like meant to be like, because I know Doctor Strange normally has like the little sideburn thing, right? He's got the one streak in his hair usually. And he's like multiple streaks because he's like symbiote tendrils. And look at his popped collar is like got the teeth on it. Kind of like Gwenom's hood. If you look at it, she's got the hood coming around her face, and then the tongue is like the lower half of the hood. Pretty happy about this set so far. I hope I pull a Scream. That would be, I think, the last major symbiote besides Red Goblin I'm looking for. Oh, there she is. This is a very symbiote heavy box here. I would have been super happy with it pull. Let's see. So we got another Prowler, an uncommon Prowler again. So we got plenty of Prowlers, but still no Aaron Davis. Can't turn into Prowler for some reason. So just a proof. So here's uncommon Aaron Davis Prowler. Here's another Toxin. We got regular issue Agent Venom. Now I've got we got Flash Thompson and the 2 people it turns into, so that's nice. Agent Venom. So interesting that when Thompson turns into Agent Venom with a symbiote, he's got very aggressive flurry, blades, claws, and battle fury. First into battle, when at the beginning of your turn, you may roll d6, move him up to half the result. It's your first turn, move him up to the full result instead. That's interesting. Evaluation. They made an Agent Venom in the previous Fantastic Four set who's got a similar trait to the into the Venomverse trait. But it's like, welcome me into the Venomverse or something. So it's like he summons himself next to whoever he needs to. I think it's a shared keyword instead of just someone with the Venom in the name. Alright, he's got the usual Venom symbiote keyword trait. And go down swinging, so his defense power there, super senses, and toughness. Okay, to start off with stealth and then range combat expert, so you can be kind of slow and methodical. And then running shots like you blast. Pretty cool. We next have, don't know if I've done all those or not, but again, that's for me to do after stream. Again, very happy I pulled Scream, as I mentioned. So here's the Codex Hunter Scream, apparently. Happy to get Scream, because again, I was very looking forward to more symbiotes, and finally got a symbiote that's not Carnage or Venom or Toxin. We got Scream. You might know from the ride at Universal Studios, not that I've seen it, but I know she was part of it. And again, I don't understand why I couldn't paint this pink, make an agony. Symbiote trait. Killer haircut. Blades, claws, fangs. Giant reach 3. Hit you for up to 6 damage up to 3 squares away. And when she uses blades and the result is 5 or 6, after resolution to remove an action token from her, so she hits you for 6 for 3 squares away. Normally she can't do any range attacks. And then she just clears an action token for doing it. All for 40 points. And then we pulled, it's not Ultimate Carnage, it's apparently a Carnage minion. He's got the little swirly eyes, which means it's part of the Ultimate Carnage stuff. Carnage minion. I think Carnage is going around. I think the Ultimate Absolute Carnage character, actually when he hits someone or knocks them out, he turns them into a minion. But these minions are going to go big because they're generics. Because they're only 30 points. Maximum Carnage trait, which again hurts people next to the person you hit. Codex Hunter, which is the symbiote plus healing when he knocks someone out. Flurry and Sidestep. Veil of Fury, which gets past the shape change you see on the these symbiotes. That's going to be confusing playing these, come to think of it. It's like, okay, a lot of shape change going on. Oh, but I've got Battle Fury. For the record, it ignores shape change. Let's see. That was box 9. Here's the last box of the night. My brick. As I catch my chair on my thing. Excuse me. Box 10. Back left for those keeping track. Hope it's something cool. The corners have been a bit good to me. Well, it's Miles Morales and a we have a Mysterio with his illusion generator. Ironically, he didn't pull a well, it's this Daniel Burkhardt or something, his name. He turns into Mysterio and Jack-O-Lantern. Okay, let's start with Mysterio since he's the interesting one. Or you can play him as regular old Quentin Beck. Here, Daniel Burkhardt is his name. Now, the image inducer is also pretty useful because 10 points, it gives you shape change. And if you succeed on your shape change, it makes an illusion bystander. So it gives you this free character. I got plenty more figures to collect in this set, so, but I pulled a lot of the symbiotes, so I'm happy. I didn't pull Null. Didn't pull Red Goblin, but maybe I'll get lucky. So here's Mysterio with his golden orbs. There's his, let's see, let's show off his, well, there's his image inducer. That's what, again, he's holding. A little cloud of smoke. Now let's see. So he's got the Sinister 6 trait. Syndicate figures next to him get shape change. In addition to the shape change you get because he gets the illusion generator for free attached. What horrors do you see in the smoke? So he gets smoke cloud. As a trait, in addition to his in-cap and outlet and all that. Let's see. Once per turn, you can either use in-cap or mind control as free, but only to make a close attack, and only target characters occupying his smoke markers, regardless of adjacency. So, and he's got a 5 range. I think smoke cloud works minimal full range. So that's useful because usually when you use smoke cloud, you're like stuck. You're like, oh, I just put that out and that's all I did. And he's 50 points. In this set, let's see. That's a lot for this set, honestly. Let's see. So you could put out a smoke cloud, hide in it in his stealth, and then make a free attack or mind control someone. And then if you try to hit him, makes this little bystander, which is another shape change, and in cap. Doesn't have much defense otherwise, but hey, free in cap. Kind of a tie-up figure. I guess it wouldn't have plasticity for a tie-up figure, but shape changes tie-up. But hey, having a free character next to you that prevent people from hitting you. Oh, useful. Let's see. Let's see. We've got duplicate Miles Morales Spider-Man. We've got another Deathlock. We've got another Iron Fist. Well, at least, you know, I didn't get everything. Well, obviously not going to pull everything out of the set, but happy to get, and it just means I get to collect more. But I'm happy to get most of the symbiotes. Mark this off. I need to check. Keep Mysterio. And we also pulled Molten Man. They only made one version of before, and for similar points, I'm pretty sure he's better in every way. From the last figure they made like 7 years ago, maybe. I forget exactly how long ago it was. It's a while. Traded molten projectiles once per turn. When he makes a range attack, you may generate a blocking terrain marker adjacent to the target. And then that blocking, the beginning of your next turn, that blocking terrain becomes hindering terrain. It remains indefinitely. So he rolls a bomb at you, it goes boom, makes a blocking thing, and then it melts into ash. His attack power, molten skin, poison, super strength. Get poison on his old dial. Let's see. When he uses poison, he deals penetrating damage. Always useful. Goes through damage reducers. And may treat characters adjacent to his blocking terrain markers as if they were adjacent to him. Shoot someone, and he can poison them. Provided he stays still, which he probably will with just plasticity mode, no movement attack. His defense, liquid metal alloy from a radioactive meteorite. I guess that's why he's Molten Man. Molten Man takes a damage of takes maximum 1 damage from attacks. So you get him like at least 4 times to knock him out. because this power is can't be outwitted. Well strafed, which means counter or ignored. Can't be chosen for mastermind. Big whoop. Still, alright, you gotta hit this guy at least 4 times to take him out. And during that time, he's outwitting you, he's perplexing you, shooting you, and poisoning you. Alright, well, that's my brick. Thank you for unboxing with me. Let's not crush the guy. Not normally this clumsy. Or maybe I am. I'm just moving around while I'm doing this. Awesome. Really excited about this set. I got some more alternate secret identity figures to collect. Maybe some more symbiotes. Yeah. We play Heroclix. Good luck. Thanks for joining me. The plan tomorrow, Friday, is the usual Escape Game Friday, and probably some more Omeler. Back to Omeler again on Sunday is the plan. Thanks for joining me for this special event. If not, well, hey, whatever. You have many entertainment choices. Thank you for spending a little time with me. Everybody take care.